You are welcome back from that quick timeout. It's still daybreak here on Trust Television, and it's time to look at the stories that have made it to the front page of our daily newspapers. Starting off first with Daily Trust. On the front page of Daily Trust, just right there in front, airstrike kills 5 Boko Haram commanders in Borno. Terrorists slay many miners in Niger. 3 soldiers, 15 bandits die in Plateau raid. And on the top left, Kano Anti-Graft Agency probes 660 million fresh water contract scam. Just the corruption we've been talking about all morning. We also have right there in the middle, federal government targets $100 billion investment, 2 million jobs from creative industry. And we have new Northern Group to meet leaders over region problems. Now, bottom left, PDP crisis. If I open up, it won't be pleasant, says Damagum. Ribadu El-Rufai Tambuwa meet at Atiku's residence in Abuja. I wonder what they are meeting for and what they're discussing. I'm sure that will come out for us to see. Federal government hikes passport fee, and then abducted Sokoto district head dies in captivity. Well, you can get all of these stories right here on the Daily Trust newspaper.
All right, we'll move on to the Guardian newspaper. And the major stories there says echoes of cabinet reshuffle trailed ministers' performance a year after. You have that cartoon there, speaking to what the situation is about efforts to build the nation, which appears to be ripping apart rather than coming together. Some people would justify the fact that you don't exactly appreciate what a building will look at the development stage. Maybe this is what it is, but it does appear that the parts are falling faster apart than coming together. Whatever judgment you make of it, I'm not trying to interpret what the Guardian has on their cover, but we have other stories there, of course. It is straight directly under the major story. Experts urge diplomacy as Chinese firm lists countries' assets for sale. This guy's main business, it appears. Nigeria to begin revocation of dormant oil well license. Stakeholders set agenda for Kekere-Kun, new CGN. Wike Damagun defense standpoints as PDP reverse crisis festers. Tough times ahead as subsidy shaves 7.7 trillion of FAC allocation. Well, that is the implication of that presidential approval. And tinubu has mortgaged Nigeria's future to family friends, says Atiku. And Aribambi alleges plot by Ajero to spark civil unrest. I'm not sure who is really the one sparking this unrest, but that's what this headline is saying. And that's it from the front page of The Guardian. All
right, now over to Vanguard. We have right there in front, Petrol Scarcity worsens as marketers load at 780 naira per litre. Says transport fares rise over 200%. Transporters lament impact on businesses in Nigeria becoming a failed state, says Pengerson. Now on the top left, CSOs berate federal government over prolonged detention of protesters without charges. Still on Vanguard, federal government increases international passport fees. We also have the police invitation to Ajeru. More critical unions give strike notice. Now, down below on the bottom left, federal government finally criminalizes vandalism of telecom facilities in new gazette. And there we have Nigeria made Dangote a colossus. It must now handle him wisely. All right. Still there on the foreign. I think fake certificates. Uganda, Kenya writes jam, demand student verification. All right. What are the stories we have on the front page of the Vanguard there?
All right. We'll move on to a final paper this morning, which will be the Nigerian Tribune, one of Nigeria's foremost newspaper. It's been there on the standpoint since 1949. It leads with the developments from Rivers. Damagun opened up on controversial letter to appeal court. Replies Clark, says those asking him to resign are undermining party neck. Ex-men opposition inaugurate reconciliation and disciplinary committees. I won't leave PDP. I will stay and fight. All right. And right above the name marks there we have withdraw invitation to Ajero. Opposition lawmakers tell police. Says allegation unbelievable recipe for crisis. Don't silence labor leaders. Sislak cautions police. $500 million domestic bonds. Investors' rights to assets funds protected under law. And this is coming from Nigeria's coordinated Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edu. To other stories, Nigeria needs new mapping to address insecurity surveillance. What does that exactly mean? Are you going to sit someplace to the kidnappers and declare other place safe? I think the mapping is correct. We just need military or whatever actions you need to flush these guys out. Alleged drug purchase scandal. Kwankwaso Algon chairman, permanent secretary arrested. Enugu government demolishes kidnappers' den, says more to go. No release of minimum wage consequential adjustment causing anxiety, and this is coming from Labour. It is stated that we have done our part, Finance Ministry. We are working on implementation, wages commission. Payment of 70,000 will cause job losses. That's coming from the Center for Policy. And organized private sector wants FG to announce pledged support. And 7 more states ready to pay 70,000. A number of governors have given express approval for the implementation to commence this month, I understand. We now have joining us, and I'm sure most of you would have been asking questions about where he went to. What I don't know is whether I have the power to ask an oracle why it has been silent for some time. So we have in the studio the editor-in-chief of Dateline newspaper and our senior brother in the profession, Mr. Nasrullah. It's a pleasure to have you.
Good morning.
Come back.
Good to be here.
Thank you for joining
to take your rightful place again. We have had all kinds of ad hoc arrangements in your
Honestly,
absence.
sometimes it's very difficult to keep up.
Yeah, that's true. Welcome back, and it's good to see you hale and hearty. And it appears you have had some rest,
Oh,
sort
yes.
of. Yeah.
Certainly.
So we expect some freshly minted perspectives on the issues that made it to the front page. It was a military onslaught yesterday in a number of places, and we also had casualties on our part. But more importantly, we were able to take down 5 Boko Haram commanders in Borno, and there was another onslaught in Plateau State where we lost 3, but we took out about 15 bandits. But sadly, in the case of Niger, it was all casualty for the local community. Sometimes it appears like we are making progress, and then from nowhere you get these attacks. How would you evaluate our efforts around the confrontation of these bandits, essentially?
Well, sadly, Nigerians, just like other people across the world, will reward not efforts, but results. The fact that you are making efforts, well, fine and good. And yes, the military especially is trying its best. But honestly, if you juxtapose what the military is doing on one hand and then the gains, so to speak, that the terrorists are making on the other, honestly, what the military is doing is certainly not enough. So we'll want them to, up their game, try to do more than they are doing at the moment. If it's something that has to do with manpower or equipment, then the government should make sure they have all those, all the things that they require, to be effective, for them to be able to nip this in the bud. But honestly, like you said, in the case of Niger State, and even Plateau State, our soldiers, the ones that we spent money to train and all that, and then before you know it, some ragtags with AK-47 will come and be decimating them. Honestly, it's a sad story, and the military, like I said, should just find a way of reviewing its operations to see how they can tackle this, because right now what Nigerians are seeing is all these killings taking place, and then the military channeling their energy to things that honestly will say do not even concern them. Because you see soldiers talking about people holding protests, and honestly these are things that the police should actually be enough to
handle.
Yeah.
All right, still on the front page of Daily Trust, what do you make of the federal government hiking passport fees at this time from 50 to 70, from 70 to 100? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, just like I saw somebody saying on social media, honestly, it's like there are Nigerians and then there are Nigerians, because every Nigerian should be able to afford a passport. But as it is now, honestly, even at the moment, people are finding it difficult to be able to obtain the passport. Now that you are hiking the price, certainly you are telling some of us that yes, we are Nigerians, but there are certain services that we cannot benefit from.
Some persons have alluded to the fact that this government is just interested in making money from everything. They don't even understand what social services are. Just if there are opportunities to make money, I think the argument will be, if you want to travel, it is because you have some extra change. So just give us a bit.
Well, some are actually traveling for medication, for other reasons.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree. We also saw some other stories there, especially the one of interest would be the New Northern Group wanting to meet the region leader. Is it that the old groups as we know them, the Area Consultative Forums or the Elders Forum and all of that, have lost steam and trust in intermediating as far as these issues are concerned? Do we really need a new group? And what can that do with regards to getting these leaders to be accountable to their people, really?
Well, sometimes when you talk to the Area Consultative Forum or the Northern Elders Forum, they will tell you that their own organization is all-encompassing. They don't just talk about politics, they talk about other issues. Yeah. But then if you also listen to Malan Shekara, who is the pro-tem chairman of the League of Northern Politicians, I can't even remember the name now. But the thing is, you are talking about politics. Already you are mentioning 2027. So even before you start, I understand that the former governor of Kano State, Shekarau, trying to tell Nigerians that, okay, our main concern is the fate of the region, whether it's political issues that have to do with security, and other indices, not just about politics. That even when it comes to politics, they want to have like a document, which they can always share with whoever is seeking for their votes in the coming election, so that they will know this is the ground on which we are supporting you. But the problem is, they are from different political persuasions.
True.
Before you know it, once it is time for election, some will say what you are doing is like you are pandering to APC, or you are doing this to support PDP. So before you know it, honestly, I don't see how they will be able to weather this storm. But then it's good that they are coming together. But rather than talk about politics, honestly, they should focus on the existential threat that is actually facing the region, because so many people cannot even travel from their states from their community to even the next community. So honestly, when people cannot move, then what politics are you even talking about? 2027 is in another 2.5 years. So honestly, all their attention should be at the moment, not about politics.
All right, now on The Guardian, I know I've been seeing a lot of this on social media. It says experts urge diplomacy as Chinese firms list countries' assets for sale. What do you make of all of that that's happening?
Well, just like so many people are saying, why should a state government, on its own, enter into an agreement with all these foreign companies or foreign nationals, and then the federal government will be the one to make the guarantee, to give them that guarantee to be able to access whichever money they are looking for. Maybe going forward, what we should be doing, anytime any state is now seeking for loans or any support, foreign support, maybe they should also put their assets, or what they will be getting from the federation account, so that when they fail, the government now has something to fall back on. Because if not, why should Nigeria, the resources that we have, be used in settling something that has to do with a particular state?
True.
So honestly, I think
I think that's the only way. That's the only way to check some of these rampaging governors. They, you complain about how things happen at the center, but at the subnational is way worse. There are no checks. There are no controls. There is no power beyond the governor. And so the question really is, sometimes I think it's about time we reevaluate all of the sovereign guarantees that we have given to all of the states, so that we are not taken by surprise. There was PGI, PD, and I, or however that is called. We had barely come out of that. And then there's this, I think the whole conversation softened after the presidential jet landed, and we all moved over to welcome our new darling 14-year-old jumbo jet, and we forgot what was lying here. Yeah. All right, we'll move on to another story, a sad one. The adopted Sokoto district head dies in captivity. What does it mean? For our security force? This case was there. We just couldn't do anything until, unfortunately, we had to lose him.
It's really a sad one, like you said, and I followed, some of the conversations. I understand that is it a nephew of the now deceased Emir, saying that they wanted to get their own money to take to these non-state actors, but then they were told that the government, will intervene and do all that, only for this to happen. And only this morning also, I was reading on Daily Trust online that the son that was abducted along with the father, had to pay 60 million naira ransom to be able to be freed. Honestly, like I said, I know the security agencies are trying, but honestly, when you look at stories like this, certainly there is need for them to
up their game.
Especially even the president. I don't know why you just give people assignments and then you wait for them to do as they wish. I think the president should be on their, so that whatever progress they are making, we are noticing, and then if there are challenges, the president will intervene at the right moment.
True. And we were just reporting this morning how another district head's house was raided, and the wife and two sons carted away, if that's the word to use, really. Painful.
Right. Let's quickly touch on sports before we go. 2024 Paralympics, Sport Minister dangles 24 million naira cash reward for gold medalists. Coming from our performance where we came back with nothing, would you say this is
after 8 billion?
After 8 billion. Is this medicine after death?
Well, I hope he will follow up on his words, because, sometimes it's one thing to promise and then even to fulfill it. And the fact that, we had a very terrible outing at the last Olympics, I hope we will support all our athletes to shine, because Paralympics is actually different. This is where Nigeria tends to make some gains. So maybe we should all channel our energy to make sure that all the athletes that are representing Nigeria are supported to put in their best.
But I think you should also understand that whatever we get from the Paralympics the assessment would not include the shamble performance.
Unfortunately.
So those are some of the stories that we're bringing to you this morning. But there's a curious one, and the pictures seem to appear on a number of newspapers, and that is the visit by Erifai and some persons to Atiku. Although on the surface we understand is a conversation around the marriage, but what are the optics suggesting, really, if we may peep into your mind?
Well, it's good to see Ribadu, and that's the NSA and the former Kaduna State governor coming together, because from what we are reading, especially on social media, is that relationship between the two of them has soared and all that. But as for those asking for why Ribadu had to be there, maybe they don't know, but Ribadu is an in-law to Atiku. I think his daughter is married to Atiku's son. So this is like a family affair. And then for El Rufai, he's representing the Kashim Imam family. They gave him that honor, lead them to Atiku. But you know, politicians being politicians, this is an opportunity for them to also discuss politics, because when you have Tambuwal, you have Sule Lamido, you have El Rufai, you know, all these politicians.
We can control all kinds of things. So
certainly.
We are permitted to think wide as far as the set of people are concerned in the room. And you now understand why the pictures made it to the front page of a number of newspapers. There's something about rest. You know, you come out breathing freshness across everything. And I'm sure he has served you fresh perspectives this morning on our newspaper review. We want to thank you very much, as always,
thank you
for finding time to be here.
Thank you.
And we hope to see you again next week. He has made that commitment before you, so I won't have to explain his absence next week. All things being equal. It's been a wonderful show this morning, an enlightening show this morning, and I hope it has been the same for you at your various houses and places of work, depending on where you are this morning. We will continue to serve you all of the best from today. Just stay tuned to Trust TV. And until tomorrow, I am Sunday Michael Ogu. And
I am Lilian Ogazi. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Stick around, because at the top of the hour, we have sports with Ajishafe, and then we also have business and news at the top of the hour. Don't go anywhere. We're here to, give you all the information you need. Well, from daybreak, do have a great day.